Right people, we're gonna take you through a full push workout for chest, delts, triceps. Basically what we're focusing on is getting those Death Star delts, building that upper chest in particular, and just really working to get a full, thick, aesthetic chest. This is my favorite day, like chest and shoulders are the most important thing when it comes to getting that like aesthetic V-taper. Big, juicy Death Star delts. I've blown them up over the last year. Naturally, before everyone's like, but I feel like this last year of training has really brought up my chest, and delts and all of my workouts have been structured like this with this kind of exercise selection, focusing on these things. And yeah, enough talk, let's get it. We're gonna start with a flat barbell bench press, go do 2 sets, keep it pretty high in the intensity. Every set is till failure. In terms of warm up, what we're gonna do is I'll start in the bar and then I'll basically go up in like 10 kilo increments or like half a plate at a time. The heavier the weight, the fewer reps I'll do. So before my top set, I'll probably do like maybe 120, 130 kilos, and then literally just do a double, like 2 reps, nowhere near failure, not really exciting myself. And then when I get to that weight and I'm actually sufficiently warmed up and got blood in the muscle, then I'll start to push out some reps and some weights. 2 sets on this one. First set is gonna be 6 to 8, then we're gonna do a back off set after that. 8 to 12-ish reps. Gonna have a big rest in between, so rest until fully recovered. None of that time in our rest times, we're making like, oh, make sure it's a minute, all that shit. Fuck me, that feels heavy. Seeing as that felt heavy as fuck, we're just gonna add a 5 on each side and then probably go for 6 sloppy reps. Oh, absolutely tragic. So yeah, I'll be shooting for 6 to 8 normally. Back off set, we'll drop it down by like 10 to 20%. And aim for 8 to 12. Progress isn't going to be linear always, boys. So got to take the L on that one. All right, 11. We're currently getting in absolutely everyone's way. Well, I've come here at like Friday at like 1, 2 p.m. because I thought it was going to be quiet, and it's like the busiest I've ever seen in the gym. We're just ruining everyone's workouts. Next up, we're going to have an incline cable press. Sometimes I'll start with an incline movement, just because I want to prioritize upper chest. But what you want to do to set these up, incline bench, pulleys slightly below your shoulder. So when we're driving up through that upper chest. The main thing that 99% of people get wrong with chest movements as well is rather than just pushing the weight, imagining you're driving your elbows together because you get that convergence. Barbell stuff is good, but there could be stuff that's better. So because our hands are fixed together, we're not getting a full shortening of the chest, which is why I prefer dumbbells. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't do barbells, but if we're doing a barbell movement where our hands are fixed and we're not getting that full shortening of the chest as we bring our hands and elbows together, then it's always good to have something in where you can get that incline focused cable press, really good movement of constant resistance. And then basically we're getting that convergence at the top, a real good squeeze, a nice slow negative time under tension. And if you can, big snappy explosive movement and all exercise on the way up. Nice 3-second eccentric. The reason for that is as we're doing the eccentric, time under tension is going to stimulate a lot of muscle growth. So yeah, 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps, 8 to 15, fill it out, trying to improve again, let's get it. Dropping it down by like 10-15%. There's a lot to be said for. Obviously, we can do like perfect tempo, like nice 3-second release. But I think there's a fine line between trying to make sure the set is completely perfect and not pushing yourself hard enough. So towards the end, it's like done safely. Because like if you're just starting out, I'd say prioritize form over everything. But because I've trained for like 10 years, I can kind of get a little bit more sloppy with it and like maybe a bit more lax with how fast I'm doing. The negatives are still under control. Exercise number 3 is my favorite chest exercise ever. Cuffed clavicular incline flies. If you don't have cuffs, you can do them with D handles. But the idea is that by using the cuffs, we get a much better mind-muscle connection. So rather than focusing on bringing our hands together, focus on bringing your elbows together. And then we're driving across our collarbones. On flies, another thing is like I said, drive your elbows together, not your hands. So a lot of people will drive their hands together and they'll get this like crab thing going on. So you want to focus on elbows rather than hands. Like look at my chest, come in a little bit, come on, don't be scared. And now elbows together, I got all of that. pretty much done for chest. So next up, we've got a lying cable lateral raise. Like, there's a lot of cables in here. And I think the thing that's blown up my chest and especially delts is not so much having big compounds in there, which is like kind of against what a lot of people say. They're just like solid quality shoulder volume. So the thing with cables is the tension is constant. So you get a really nice contraction on it. And the other thing as well, like unlike dumbbells, is that you've got resistance through the full range of motion. So like down here with the cable, you're fully lengthening that medial delt, which is gonna give you those wide like Death Star 3D delts. And then you're fully shortening it as well with constant resistance all the way through the movement. With dumbbells, it's not a bad movement, but it's good to like mix it up and kind of work the full range of the muscle. With dumbbells, down there you haven't really got much resistance, so that lengthened range gets kind of like neglected. What we'll do on these is 3 sets. First set, 6 to 10. Second set, 8 to 15. Third set, 8 to 15. 2 failure again. And then what I'm also gonna do is superset these with a tricep movement. So the next few exercises I'm gonna superset. I won't always do it, like you don't have to do it, but in terms of like time in the gym, I don't wanna be spending hours in the gym. I like to increase the intensity as I get nearer to the end of the workouts, just so I'm like really, really sweating, got my heart rate up, pushing myself towards the end of the session. Then into a speedy superset. Set the pulleys at the same angle that your arms are at. I always think like, if I was a gym fight, you know what I mean? Like a riot in the gym. This would be such a sick weapon to go and fuck some people. 2 more exercises left. Again, a superset is optional. But what we're gonna do is superset a tricep chest compound, which is weighted dips. So I love incorporating some calisthenics. Superset those with a seated dumbbell lateral raise, just to really, really train that different range, add a little bit more volume to chest, and just really push up the volume for triceps. We'll do the dips first, and then the dumbbell raises afterwards, just because we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're fatiguing our shoulders, then doing dips where we risk injuring ourselves. So we're having the dips first, save our shoulders. Another exercise that people get very wrong. Rather than doing a dip where you're just lowering yourself down, like don't just lower yourself down like that, because you're putting your shoulders at like under a lot of strain, at a lot of risk in order to get that depth. Like there's so much pressure on your shoulders. Rather than going straight down, you want to break at your hips and let your torso come more perpendicular to the floor. So it almost looks like a half rep. So not like this, shoulders under a lot of pressure, like this. So there, you're still getting that 90 degree in the arm, but you're not putting your shoulders in that compromising position. So we're gonna do that. Superset of dumbbell lateral raises. Final one, drop the weight down a bit, and we'll do a drop set down to body weight, failure on both of those. Because, right, every set we've done is to failure, every working set. In terms of volume, so the amount of sets and reps that we're doing, it'll be slightly lower than what a lot of people are used to. But because we're training with more intensity, aka closer to failure, we can get away with doing slightly less volume. I used to do like 4 sets, 8 to 12 on everything, and do like 20, 30 sets in a workout, but it's just unnecessary. It's like the law of diminishing returns. Like up to a point, extra volume is going to be unnecessary, then up to a point again, it's actually going to be detrimental if you're doing too much. Botox hasn't started working yet. I got Botox last night. I want to look like Giga Chad. Right people, that was my push workout. I hope you enjoyed it. 3 of the main things from that is number 1, intensity. Make sure you're training with enough intensity. Number 2 is track your lifts. And then finally, don't switch up your training every single week. Stay on a plan, stick to a structured program. The worst thing you can do is switch out your exercises every single week because you'll just have no like gauge to track progression on those lifts. If you want a custom meal plan or training plan, Physique Incubator is my platform. We're also running a 10-week challenge starting on the very start of June. £3,000 worth of prizes. £1,000 cash, a skydive with me, and heaps of other stuff. So if you want to get involved, check out the link below for that. You'll get a custom training plan, custom meal plan. So yes, boys, get into the best shape of your life, join the community, and then also be in for the chance of winning a shit ton of prizes for transforming mentally, physically, and having like the best summer of your life. Lots of love, peace out, thank you, good night.